section in the previous class, last two classes. Kindly take the notes for the upcoming class, because first two units will be most probably a theoretical part, and some of the basic programs were there. When comparing to the third, fourth, and fifth unit, all the program will be very difficult. So kindly go with those running notes. If possible, go with the running notes, right? And today we are going to discuss about the third unit. We are going to start the third unit. The second unit has been completed as of your syllabus, and the screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So today we are going to start the third unit. I will give you the introduction about the unit, and I will discuss about one topic and with one example problem today. And from tomorrow onwards, we will move into this in-depth into the syllabus, and we will discuss about the syllabus. So the third unit, which consists of control flow and the function. And have you heard about the control flow in the first unit? Controlled. The word controlled in the first unit. Okay, I will show you the syllabus right now. And this is the third unit syllabus, and in this we are going to look after about the conditional. That means a boolean and operator, conditional if else, if else, and iteration process. It will be state, while, for, break, continue, pause. So these are all the conditions that you are going to use in the programming language. And with that, the return value, that is a function that has been called as a fruitful function, that will be a return value, and local and global scope, and function composition, regression. And we are going to see some of the operation in the strings also. And in this also, we having 3 to 5 to 6 illustrative problems. Based upon this third unit, we will have we are going to discuss about the illustrative problems. Fine. You heard in the first unit, when the algorithm and problem solving, you heard about the if else condition and all, right? Have you remember about that?
Yes, sir.
So can you tell me what is the if condition?
Sir, we give which statement is correct. We have to check the statement, sir. If using if statement.
So if the condition will be here, the statement will be executed. This condition is true, then the statement will be executed. And if you are giving if else statement, if the condition is false, and then the else statement will be executed, right? So if so this conditional statement, if it will check the condition, if it is true, then it will execute the statement, or it will be terminated. That is a function of a if. And if else, if the if statement will check the condition, if it is true, then it will be execute the if statement, and if it is false, it will go to the else statement, and it will execute the else statement. And these two we have discussed in the first unit itself. Apart from that, we having some of the condition, that is chained condition, that is if else, else if, and else. And some of the iteration process were there. So state, while, for, break, continue, and pass. So these are the conditions we are going to discuss in this unit. So first we want to discuss about the Boolean values and the operators. And one more thing I want to remind you that in the second unit we have discussed about the operators, right?
Yes, sir.
So in the second unit, you having in your syllabus, you having only the operator precedence. So whatever I told in the second unit, that was not included in those second unit. So these are what are the conditions that we have discussed. Some of the operators we have discussed, right? Arithmetic, relational, logical, bitwise. Some 6 to 7 operators we have discussed, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, so that will be consist of in your third unit. That was not in your second unit actually. So second unit only you are having this operator precedence. So if you are expecting some of the questions in second unit, only you can expect the question from operator precedence. So this like that, they will give you an equation and ask you to solve the problem by based upon this order. So this is the only expectation question in the second unit based upon the operators. And this we have discussed, that was arithmetic operator that we have discussed, that is arithmetic, relational, assignment, logical, bitwise, membership, identity. So these are all come under the third unit in the topic of operators. So we also discussed the Boolean value, correct? What is mean by Boolean value?
Sir, it means zeros and ones, sir. Zero means false, one means true.
Yes, so most probably that will be fine. So Boolean data type have two values, that is zeros and ones. So 0 will represent the false value and 1 will represent the true value. So true and false are the keyword here. So for the Boolean, the true and false are the keyword. So while we are going in the illustrative problem, we will use some of the Boolean values over there also. So here you can see some of the examples that I have mentioned. 3 is equal to 5. The result will be produced as false. Because 3 is not equal to 5, then the result will be false. And 6 is equal to 6, then the result will be true. And here I am mentioning I am adding two Boolean values by using the operator, that is true plus true is equal to mention as true, because true will represent the value as 1 and true will represent the value as 1. So it will add those two numbers and it will display the result. And here false plus true is equal to 0 plus 1, it means it will represent as 0. And false into 0, it means 0 into 1, the value will be 0. So we can, if you are giving the keyword true, then it will be automatically take as the value 1. If you are using operand operators over here, then it will be automatically do those operation and it will produce the result. So this is the basic thing that was mentioned in the second unit. Have you understand about this? We already discussed about the Boolean values in the second unit itself. So as of now, I am repeating those things. Fine?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And so I will move some of an example here for this Boolean thing. Can you tell me what is happening here? So some of the computer science students are aware about this. So I will run the code also. Based upon the output, you can identify what is happening there.
Sir, is LM the function of the string where we are checking if the string consists of alphabets as well as numbers? Or if
Yes.
it consists of alphabets and number, it will return true, or if it doesn't, it will return false.
Yes, so these are so you have remembered these things, right? When you have discussed about the modules. In the previous class, we have discussed about the modules and you have remembered this syntax that module, once you are going to import or you are doing some of the inbuilt or predefined, inbuilt or user-defined modules, then with the inbuilt module which consists of module underscore name dot function underscore name into the bracket, it will be, if you are passing those variables, then it will be allocated. So here we are not going from the inbuilt module, we are user defined module. So this str is equal to hello world. The user has been defined that str is equal to hello world. By using this, we are calling this str variable here, and that str variable we are calling the function that is alphanumeric. That means is ALMN, in the sense it is alphanumeric. What it will do is check if all the characters are numbers. So it will go to this string and it will check whether all the characters are in the number. So the condition will be false and it will display the false statement. So this is known as the Boolean statement. Whatever the output we are getting, these are all the Boolean values that you are getting over here. When the condition is true, then it will produce the result as true, and the condition is false, then it will produce the result as false. So second thing is alpha, where it will check all the character in the string uh, all the character in the string are alphabetic. So you can see here, the third line, what it will do is check if all the character in the strings are alphabetics. So whether it will display false or true.
Sir, it is true, sir.
Is it so?
Yes, sir. Hello world that contain the alphabetic, no, sir.
Is there any other options? Whether it is true or false? So yes, Subha, I hope so, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
But
So
there
you
is
can
no
read one more
number,
time,
sir.
please. Yes, who's that?
Sir, but there is no number, that's why it may be false.
So this is the thing, check if all the character in the string are alphabetic. So it want to check that whether all the character in the string are alphabetic. So this is the string we have given. It want to check whether in this string all the characters are alphabetic. Is it true or false? I have mentioned that it's false and it was produced the result as false, because what is happening here is in between hello and world we have given one space, right?
Yes, sir.
So it will check
Yes,
that
sir.
also. So it will check that space also and it will produce the result. If you are giving only one word, then it will produce the result as true. So if you are giving any space, that character also will, the compiler will check that character also and it will not consider as an alphabetic. So it will produce the result as false, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So you want to look after these types of small things in your program and you want to do those program also. So next fourth line is test if the string contain digit. So is there any digit over here? No.
No, sir.
Then it will produce the result as false. And here the fifth line will be test if string contain little words. So words in the sense it will take two words. That means hello and world. So it will consist of a little word and it will produce the result as true. So the condition is true, then it will produce the result as true. And the sixth line, what is happening is test if string contains upper cases. Whether it is upper cases are there.
Yes, sir. H, sir.
String contains upper cases. All over the string is in uppercase. That was the condition.
Then no, sir.
Yes. So it will produce the result as false. And here, test if string contains lower cases. So all over the string are going, was mentioned here as a lower case. No, then it will produce the result as false. And in this eighth line, the test if string contains spaces. Yes.
Yes, sir. True, sir.
All the string which has contained spaces.
No, sir.
No, then it will produce the result as false. So each an individual character or a string, it will represent as a character and a string also. So it will check each an individual character and it will produce that was having all the spaces. So it will test if string means here the hello world is a string, and it will check whether all the character in the hello world was mentioned in the spaces. So it means it will display the result as false. And in the ninth line, string ends with D. Is it right?
Yes, sir. True.
Yes, because this is an overall string that was end with D and it will produce the result as true. And the string start with H. Yes, the overall string has been started with H, so it will produce the result as true. So these are the basic things that we are going to apply in your program for the Boolean values, how we want to get those Boolean values. And this is alphanumeric, is alpha, is digit, is title. These are all the keywords that you are represented in the modules. It has been already predefined the operation that you are going to do. So you generally want to know the basic keywords, what this is alpha numeric will going to do and is alpha is going to do, like that. These keywords, these are all the basic keywords, and what are the operations that these keywords are going to do, you want to be aware of about that, right?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts in this?
No, sir.
If you are having any doubts, you just give me a message in a chat box related to this problem. If you are not having doubts, then we will move to the next topic.
No doubt, sir.
Yes.
No doubt, sir.
Yes. Then now, these are these basic things of a Boolean expression, Boolean values. And again, I am telling that the operator, what we have discussed in the second unit, same the problem and same the example was to be considered in the third unit also. So if you are having any doubts, I am uploaded the A and DS classes videos in your YouTube, and today I will upload your videos in your YouTube also. You go with those YouTube videos and you can clarify your doubts. That was fine. And these are all the conditions that we are going to discuss in the upcoming classes. Before completing this class, I want to mention with one of the example with this function statement that was pending in this second unit. So these are all the conditions. That means condition if, alternative executive if else, chained if, else if and else, and nested if, else, and inline if. So these are all the conditions that you are going to execute, that going to look after in the next upcoming class. And this is the code that was mentioned here. Can anyone tell me? I will give you 2 minutes time to you, and you can tell me what is really happening in this lines of code. So give me 2 minutes. I will be back in 2 minutes. So these 2 minutes you can look into this code and you can tell me what is really happening in this lines of code. So yes, have you find out that?
Sir, it is a program to reverse the given number, sir.
Yes, good. So this is the program to, if you are giving the number, if you are giving any number, integer number over there, and it will reverse those number and it will display the result. Fine. This is the thing you have already studied in your 12th standard also. Without using the function you have studied in your 12th standard, I hope so, right? So can you tell me what is my function name here?
Reverse.
Reverse.
Yes. So whether am I passing any arguments there?
No, sir.
No, sir.
See the lines of code and tell me argument is different, argument value is different.
Yes, sir. Argument is there.
Yes. So if I am
Sir, n is the argument, sir.
Yes. So if I am taking this n, then I am not passing any argument over here. And if I am giving those n here and I am passing the argument that here what will happen is the reverse function will call. So which line will be executed first here?
8th line.
8th line, sir.
Yes, 8th line. What the thing it will happen is it will get an input from the user, and I am using one of the variable result here, and I am calling the function reverse, and I am passing the argument x, right? So it will search the reverse function in a program, and it will go to the reverse function. Now, if I am giving here the value 1, 2, and 3, what will happen? It will take n is equal to 1, 2, and 3, and we are assigning reverse is equal to 0, and they will do this operation, and it will return the reverse value. So I will go with one of the example, and I will do some of an operation over here. And the input I am giving here is 1, 2, and 3, and already we have predefined the reverse value is equal to 0 in the function. And while loop will be executed in the function, that means n is equal to 1, 2, and 3. So input is equal to 1, 2, and 3. That means n is equal to 1, 2, and 3, right?
Yes, sir.
If I am giving input is equal to 1, 2, and 3, what would happen? Input value will be stored in a variable x, and it will go to the reverse of x, and it will store in the n, and it will execute the remaining part. So while 1, 2, and 3 is greater than 0, then the condition will be executed, whether the condition is true or false. While 123 is greater than 0, the condition will be
True, sir.
true. Then it will execute the statement, right? Then r is equal to 1, 2, and 3 mod of 10. So this is the formula. This 3 line, 4, 5, and 6th line will be your formula to find out the reverse value. So r is equal to 1, 2, 3 mod 10. What is the 1, 2, 3 mod 10 value? (123) mod 10. What will be the result?
12.
Yes. Hey boy. 123. What is the functionality of modulus?
Is that 3?
Yes. So it will display the result 3 because 123 divided by 10. So 12 into 10 is 120, and the remainder part is 3. So modulus operation will be, it will display the remainder value, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So now the R value has been finalized as 3, and it will come to the next step, that is reverse is equal to reverse into 10 plus R. So what is the reverse value now?
3, sir.
Reverse value, reverse.
0, sir.
0.
Yes, we have fixed, already we have fixed the reverse value as 0, right?
3 to 1.
Reverse value is 0.
Yes, sir.
This is an R value. We already fixed the reverse value as 0, and we have find out the R value. And here the formula is reverse into 10 plus R. So reverse value is 0 into 10 plus R value is 3, right? So now what will be the answer? 0 into 10, it will be consist of 0 and plus 3. Then the reverse value is 3. Now the reverse value has changed to 3. From 0 to 3, the reverse value has been changed here. And it will go to the next step, that n is equal to int n divided by 10. So what is meant by n? What is the value of n?
1, 2, 3, sir.
1, 2, 3, right? So 1, 2, 3 divided by 10, the value will be?
12.3, sir.
Yes, value will be?
12, sir.
It will consist of, if you are dividing 123 divided by 10, it will give you an answer like 12.3, right? So here we have declared that we want a value in an integer, so it will not take the decimal point, and it will display the integer part, that will be a 12, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So here the formula has been over now, and what will happen is it will again move to the while statement. While till the condition has been false, it will move to the while statement. While now we want to check n is greater than or 0. Now the n value is, what is the n value now?
12, sir.
12. So here now it will check the condition. While 12 is greater than 0, the condition will be
True, sir.
true. It will execute the statement. So R is equal to 12 mod of 10. What is the answer? Twelve divided by 10, the remaining value. What is the remaining value? 12 divided by 10.
2, sir.
2. Yes. So again it will go to the reverse function. Reverse is equal to, now the reverse value has been mentioned as 3. So it means 3 into 10 plus 2. What is the value?
32, sir.
32. Yes. Now again coming to the n. N is equal to, we already declared that n is equal to int n divided by 10. It means, what is n now? What is n?
32, sir.
N is 12.
12.
So we are checking this condition by n. N is greater than 0. It means 12 is greater than 0. So now the n value is 12. So 12 divided by 10. What is the value?
1.2.
So this is represented as
1, sir.
yes. So if you are giving integer, then the value will be 1. So again, what will happen is it will go to the while statement, and now what is the n value?
1.
1 greater than
So it
0.
will check. Yes, it will check 1 is greater than 0. The condition will be
True, sir.
true. Then it will go to the
True, sir.
same process. So R is equal to 1 mod 10, right? What is the value?
Sir, 0, sir.
No. So you want to do a calculation and you want to give a remaining part in this category. We can't able to divide those 1 divided by 10. So we want to display the same thing that we are going to divide, right? So we can't able to divide by 1 divided by 10, right? Without a decimal point.
Sir, the answer is 0.1, sir. We ignore the decimal point. We only conclude the integer point, no, sir.
So that will be happened here, Subha. I hope so. That will be happened here because we are given the division value. Here we are giving a modulus value. Only we want to get the remainder part. So here we can't able to divide this 1 divided by 10. So if suppose I am giving 3 mod 10, then the value will be 3, right?
Okay, sir.
Remainder
If I am
will be
giving
1,
1 mod 10, then the value will be 1 because we can't able to divide 1 by 10, right? So if I am giving 10 mod 10, then the remainder will be 0. If I am giving 11 mod 10, then the remainder will be 1. If I am giving 1 mod 10, we can't able to do this operation. So whatever the thing we want to display, whatever the values was there, we want to take that value as an output.
Okay, sir.
Yes. So if the first step has been over, and we will move to the reverse statement, and reverse is equal to reverse into 10 plus 2. Now the previous step, the reverse value has been changed to 32, and here 32 into 10 plus 1. What is the value?
321. 321, sir.
321. 321 will be the value. And now going to the end statement, n is equal to int of, what is the n value?
1, sir.
1, sir.
Yes, 1 divided by 10. What is the value now?
0.
0, sir.
Yes, it will consist of 0 point something. It will be something, the number will be coming over there. But as of now, we have declared that the integer value, so it will take as 0. So again, what will happen? It will check the condition while 0 is greater than 0. The condition will be
False.
False, sir.
False.
yes. So the condition will be false. And what we have done in the 7th line is return reverse. So we have given the return value. So finally, what is the reverse value we have gotten in the while loop? That is 3211. It will return the value 321 in for the function n, and it will take the reverse of 321 will be here. Instead of x, it will consist of 321, and we are going to print the reverse statement. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So if I am giving 1, 2, and 3, and I am running those things, and I will get the value as 321. You can see here that is 321. So this is the basic operation that how the reverse function has been working out, and this is the only 3 lines of code, but we want to do a lot of manual operation for this reversing process. And if they are asking you the question in the reversing program, you go with this function. You want to declare a function, you want to return the value, and you want to pass the value, and you want to return the values also. Pass the argument and you want to return the value. Have you understand this? Any doubt in this particular thing? If you are having any, what is this 12.3? Okay. So Purnisha, you are giving a text over here. Unable to see. So any doubt in this?
No, sir.
No doubt, sir.
Yes. So it. So 1 minute. Can you tell me what is happening here?
Sir, in this function, we didn't define the function, sir. We directly into the n numbers.
Yes. So this is the thing. This is the two different lines of code. It means that same formula for this reversing the function. This will be a same formula, but the only thing here we have used a function and we have given the return value also. We are passing the argument and we are going with the return value. In this lines of code, we are not going with the function. We are directly getting the input from the user and doing those calculation, and we are displaying the result, right? So here, is this correct over here? Floor division. See the 6th line, and you can tell me whether it is correct or not. What will be the answer for this? If suppose I am giving n is equal to 55 floor division of 10, then what will be my output? So what we have used here is we have declared the int, and we have done the division operation, right? We have declared the int and we have done the division operation. And in the arithmetic operator part, I explained you about the floor division, what the floor division operator will do. Forgot. So you can see here, I have explained you already. I have explained you this floor division operator, and you can see here, and you can tell me what will be the answer.
Sir, it executes the quotient part, sir.
Yes, it will execute the quotient part, and kindly read all the 3 lines over there.
Sir, it only returns the integer value.
Yes, it will only return the integer value. In the quotient part, if you are going with the decimal value is there, it will eliminate those decimal value and it will return the integer value alone. So these two conditions are most probably same. So here what will be the output I am getting is, I will get the output as 5, right?
Yes, sir.
So n is equal to 55, floor division of 10, it will be consist of, I will get the output as 5. So same operation we have executed in this lines of code, but what we have done is we are not using the floor division. We are going with those division and we are declaring that value want to be in an integer value. So these two operations are most probably same. We can go with any one of an operation. So another, apart from that, all the formulas was mentioned here was same. So if they are asking any reverse program over here, you want to remind these 3 lines, that's enough, right?
Yes, sir.
If they are asking in a 2-mark to if they are asking in a 2-mark question that write down the code for the reverse operation, then you can write this 7 operation, that will be enough. If they are asking this same problem in the 8-mark or 10-mark, then you want to go with this lines of code, 10 lines of code, and you want to give an explanation about, at least for two digit, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
If they are asking in a 16-mark question that the reverse, write a program to find out the reverse of a number. If they are asking in a 16-mark question and you want to go with the same lines of code, that is 10 lines of code, and you want to explain those lines of code with minimum of 4-digit number. Yes?
Clear, sir.
Yes. So this is the final of this class, and if you are interested, you randomly you can choose those 4-digit number and you can do this operation in your A4 sheet. You can do this operation in your A4 sheet and you take your snapshot and you can send me in a WhatsApp. So if you are interested, you can do this. This is not a compulsory. I'm not forcing you anyone over here. And if you are interested, you can do this and send me a snapshot, right?
Okay, sir.
Yes. So any doubts in this particular topics or today classes? So we have discussed only 2 topics, that is Boolean values and arithmetic operators and this function reversing program. Any doubt you can ask me your doubts. If there is no doubts, you can give your attendance and you can move off right now. And you can attend the next classes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.